Hi, everyone. Welcome to A New Time for Other Ideas, my new podcast where we talk about entertainment, the tech behind entertainment, and the people behind all of it. So today I have really cool people here to have the conversation. Victoria Stevens, who is an actress, a writer for Hollywood Times, which I'm gonna ask you about that too, because I think we need more people writing about Hollywood. Okay. And you're now trying your hand behind the camera. Is that true?
It's so true. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. And my other guest, Charles Heimlich, he is an actor, a stunt guy, action actor, and an author. So we're going to have the conversation about how technology is affecting these two and see what we all have to say about it. So how are you both?
We're good.
Excellent. I appreciate you being here. Having a conversation about technology is uncomfortable these days, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, with chat GPT taking over a lot of things and, everything's going basically robotic, if you want to call it that. But basically it's taken over a little bit. And then of course you have SAG trying to fight against it. But that is I think it's a losing battle to say, sadly, because the generation's just meant to go that way. So we just have to figure out how to smoothly go with it. I think fighting against it is going to be not so it's going to be a losing battle. You can't really fight against it. You just got to utilize it the best we can.
I agree. I think that's very true. I mean, you really can't avoid the inevitable, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So is there any particular way that we'll start with you, Charles. Like, how do you think about the ever growing technology influx? How is that affecting you? How do you feel about it? Are you one of the like, I hate it, or are you kind of, how do you feel about that?
Well, it has its pluses and minuses, but of course it can hurt the industry a lot. So, I'm hoping that they can get a handle on it. And like Victoria said, it's inevitable. So we got to figure out a way to deal with it and not let it affect us as professionals and or hurt us, because we can do both. A funny story, my son is 17 and he actually has on his phone, he can mimic my voice and make me say whatever he wants, so it's crazy. So you can actually put people out there and make them say things it's not true, and
That's
take their picture and everything.
Yes.
So it's dangerous. It's a dangerous tool, but we have to keep a handle on it, and we got to handle it professionally. And I know SAG is definitely having a hard time with that as well. So yeah, but we're professionals and we have to keep that.
That's right. Yeah, because it's reality. And I'm actually working. I run a technology company, ironically. I am not a technology person per se. I am also a film producer and actor. But what I'm doing is to protect from what exactly you are talking about right now. We are not just working on casting and production tools, but we're also working on a platform where you can protect your image and your voice.
Right.
Which is really, really cool, right? Like, so, you'll own you, which I mean, seems obvious, right? But, it's an important thing. And I think that as long as we can get along with technology as actors and entertainment professionals, I agree we can't avoid it, right? But we should learn to play nice, right? Otherwise, it's all going to interrupt everything, and we can't let that happen. And I might remind you that we went through this with streaming networks too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And lived.
That's true.
It is true. So, all right. So, Victoria, tell me about how many casting websites and tools like that you use in a given week.
Well, the main ones, of course, that most actors are on are casting networks and Actors Access. I don't usually use Backstage. They do not monitor like people who actually are making films and then people who are just posting in hopes that they find some people to make something. So they don't really monitor that as well. But then again, I don't know if I want to stick with casting networks because they're raising their prices again.
Yes, they
But the problem with that is the actors aren't getting enough projects to financially afford to keep it. So it's like there's not enough projects out there for everyone to financially make that happen. And like that's why I'm a SAG must join. I haven't joined SAG yet, is because it's saturated with a lot of SAG actors who are starving artists that are trying to figure out how to pay their dues, but not making anything. And that leads us into leading back into the background, which we constantly have to take background roles, which we don't really want to take, but we financially have to pay the bills of SAG in order to do that. So it's like catch 22, like at least we're on set.
Right, right.
But so those are my main sites that I'm on. I don't usually go off of those because those are just where Fox is on and like all the networks are on those. So
How much time do you think you spend a week looking at casting websites?
oh my gosh. Well, every single time it comes in my inbox, I'm constantly looking, submitting fast, because I'm a constant like if I don't get that submission in, I'm going to be saturated underneath of 10,000 other people. So it's like I'm always on it, looking at my emails, submitting, and like in a given day, I can get over 150 to 200 emails from casting sites from their submissions from projects. So I'm constantly on there, or then I'll be just bombarded with emails. So on a given day, I'll probably on there for about 6 hours if you combine. You know what I'm saying? Like if you combine all the time that I'm submitting, it's probably going to be a 6 hour deal because I'm constantly looking and if you combine all the times in that whole day. So it's just because when we are submitting ourselves, we're constantly having to do all the work that agents and managers are doing, and
Do
keeping
you
up
have
on
an
it.
agent or manager?
I do. I have my managers in New York, and I have 4 other agents. I have Atlanta agent, I have a Philly agent, I have a mid like Virginia DC agent, and then I have my New York manager. So I have the East Coast basically covered. Now I just need to figure out the West Coast.
It's fun. Yeah, they're more expensive out there too, which is
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what I do is I submit myself to like projects $300 and less because I know my agents aren't because they have to get paid. So if they're going to focus on the $300 and more gigs, I can focus on the others and still make some sort of income and get some sort of credits build up,
brings a whole new meaning to struggling actor, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think the percentages of the agent's job? Like, how many do you get from your agent? How many do you get from casting sites?
I mean, it's picked up in the last year for me. And I think it's because I've been with my managers and agents for like my manager, I've been with her for 4 years. So it's been a while. But so she knows she finally has gotten my type. And so the projects she does send to me, which I'm going to say 1 to 2 every 2 weeks per se. But it's a clear character that I know I can play. So that's good that she's gotten my type down pretty well. And my headshots now are finally paralleling what she's trying to look for. But some of my agents are still submitting me for, random commercial stuff that I was like,
Right.
let's just do it. Let's just try, It doesn't
Right.
hurt to get myself into the casting director's eyesights. Even if I know that project I'm totally not good for, it's good to at least audition so they see what I could do for other things coming down the line. So
Yeah, full-time job.
yeah.
All right, same question to you, Charles. How much time do you think you spend looking for work?
So very similar to Victoria. I mean, I get hundreds and hundreds of emails every day as well. So, basically it's all day that we're looking off and on all day long. Some days are more than others, obviously, but I start looking at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I find myself constantly on looking and focusing on new things coming in, looking for things on my own as well, just like Victoria said. I do have an agent and a manager as well. So I'm represented on the East Coast and West Coast as well. So, but like she said, we have to look for stuff ourselves. And I also have Actors Access and Casting Networks, but I also have Backstage and a couple others, Mandy and a couple other ones as well. So, but I'm not really getting much from them.
That's a lot. I'm just sort of taking this in, actually. I mean, so what do you think the value, like the cost benefit to this system is? Do you think that you are getting the most you could get out of these things, or
No,
is there something you wish they would do
absolutely.
better?
Yeah, absolutely not. I think they need to do a much better job at what they're doing. Like, as far as like what Victoria was talking about, pipes and stuff like that, all our information is in there, but I don't believe that they do a fine enough job of checking those things out and submitting us for things that really fit us. So I don't get half of what Victoria gets. So she gets even more than I see. I don't even see much at all. So and I have like I said, I have an agent and a manager. I'm not getting anything from those guys. I'm SAG eligible as well. So I've been told not to worry about getting my license, to get the non-union work, because there's so much non-union work as well. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think that the casting networks, I don't think that they give us what we should have. And I don't believe that they live up to the standards that we need.
Yeah, I've heard it described as false hope.
False hope.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good
or
way.
a necessary evil. I mean, you can look at both ways there.
Right.
That's really interesting. Okay, so you're both kind of just working to like work to work in a weird way, right? Like, you're doing all of this to get jobs so you can pay for getting jobs.
Yeah.
And right. Yikes. That's
Yeah,
a
we're
lot.
both full-time actors, so yeah.
Right. So neither of you have like a day job or, this is what you do, and you're spending a regular working day stalking casting websites.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I try to utilize the best way of using connections, like with casting directors, constantly talking to them, be like, hey, so what's going on? Anything new?
Right.
They're trying to go around the constant.
There is
just
a lot
staring.
of value, of value in that. Being somebody who's been a casting director many times, I will tell you right now that networking is probably more important than, all of these websites. But what would you say if I told you that for every role submitted on or posted on one of these sites, 3,000, roughly 750 at minimum, and 3,000 really kind of on average, people are submitted by agents alone.
Yep.
For roles, and that gets prioritized.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you're just like, yep, I just have to accept that.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like that's how casting networks itself is rolling in money, because the agents have to pay to be on there as well. So they're already
targeted for casting networks.
They don't pay. Okay. So then the only way you could not pay for it is if you go through the agents, kind of feel like on their roster, but then we can't upload headshots or resumes.
Right. And we can't submit unless we're on it.
Right. Yeah. And also, casting directors can choose which agents even see their posts. So there's a lot of weird stuff on every side of that. They do pay for Actors Access or breakdown, really. But again, same story, where they're not getting half of the casting lists because they weren't checked off in that box, right? So even your agents are at a disadvantage in that way.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. So unless you basically have an agent at WME or Gersh or, one of those places, you're really not seeing a lot of the work that's being made available, which is kind of stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that sounds like a struggle, and you're both making it enough to live, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, what would you, if you had one wish or three or whatever, to for how this system could be better, what would it be, or what would they be?
Um, well, for me, it's the one wish is to allow the playing field to be broader than just the A-listers getting all projects. Like I really do feel like they need to allow for other upcoming artists to be able to thrive as well, and not just trying to use their names to push the project along money like financially.
Right.
But that
Guys, a
just
lot.
to me is like, okay, you're just basically going to pick everyone who's already known already. You don't, it's not about talent anymore. It really isn't. It's about how much money can you bring to me if I book you. And right now, I just want to point out there's a lot more pay to play than anything in the freaking industry. It's all about, hey, you can go and talk to this A-lister in the scene, but you had to put 3 grand in there, and I'm like,
Right.
no, I will never pay for a freaking role
I
because
would agree.
that's not showing me that I can act. That's showing me that I can give you a paycheck.
That's right.
Yeah, it's fake. Yeah, I
Yeah,
I
agree.
don't like it.
And I'm seeing more and more of that all the time myself. I was approached by different actors to do that. And I said, why would I do that? I'm trying to get paid, not to pay.
Mhm.
You know?
Right. Yeah, you're already spending money on the websites. You're already spending money
Yeah.
to, do headshots,
I know. Yeah.
like all of
Yeah.
these things. And headshots are expensive too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and nobody's born knowing how to brand. I mean, right? Like, you
No.
have to put together these media packages, EPKs and all this stuff. That's a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, that's really a full-time job, and really you're paying to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy. Like, when you put it that way, right? That sounds crazy.
Well, because we're our own publishers. So
Right.
like we are our own media, we're our own press. Like we're doing everyone else's job ourselves and not getting paid
Right.
anyway.
Right. Yeah. But you are in fact spending money to do
Mhm.
all of those jobs.
Yeah.
Money and time. Yeah. We're spending
Yeah.
our time too.
Like a
I
lot of
always
time.
Well, I always say, when they say like a business, a CEO, like when you're starting a business, if it doesn't have the profits be coming back, usually you stop the business. Well,
Right.
most actors, we never see the profit come back. So I feel like we're all in the like floundering business.
That's crazy. Like, I mean, I hope you are hearing yourself say that right now. Like,
But I'm just saying, like, if you think about it, like if we were CEOs of a different company and it wasn't working, that company would be closed.
right. Yeah, sure. If I don't bring money into my company, we don't do that anymore. Right?
Yeah.
That's real.
And it's
Oh my
just
God.
crazy how we're constantly keep pushing to try and make this happen. And it's just like, oh my gosh. But like, this is the entertainment industry. Like, this is it. It's not a regular like company. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it
Right.
doesn't follow the same rules that
Right.
another company like Campbell's would follow,
That's
Right.
true. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just can this and, right? Like, call it a day. Oh, that's really interesting. Is it the same kind of deal with like stunts? Because I know there are fewer stunt people on the planet. Does that work the same way, or is that an easier targeted market to kind of break into?
It's basically the same thing, but if you get your in and stunt people, if you do only stunt, then you are recognized only for that. And then you have to stick with that, and you're never going to get out of that. You're going to have that stigma that you're just a stunt performer. So I don't want that. I want to be a well-rounded actor with being able to do stunt work and do my own. I can do my own stunts, which is what I like to do. But I don't want to be I don't want to be labeled a stunt performer, because no, that's a whole different thing. And it's a different entity, and they have their own way of doing things. But it's basically the same.
Yikes. I don't know. You guys are like making this sound great. I mean, wonderful, right? I'm asking you all of these questions, obviously, because the system that I'm developing is aimed to fix these problems, right? And it's interesting to me to have that conversation. I think if you don't have the conversation and you don't know what the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, you're saying you don't get jobs from your agents and managers either, right? If we don't know what everybody else is doing or how everything else is working or what they're paying versus what we're paying, or all of those things. Does it really count as working? I mean, like, is that functional? Or, is that just a disaster? Because in my opinion, it's a disaster, but I'm curious what you think.
Me personally, or God,
Both
Victoria?
of you. I mean, I just do you feel seen? Do you feel heard? Is this a mess? Like, what is going on here?
God, you can go first.
Okay. Well, I think what it is for me is like, I feel like I pull a lot of energy and I do all the teachers are telling you to do, and then you get to another teacher and they tell you something else, and then you do that. And so I feel like I put so much time and effort, and then not to see like the fruit of that occur. But I guess, as they always say, it's a journey. So then you always are like, okay, so when does this journey, like, what happens next? So being seen and heard, I mean, only I guess when you start booking do you feel seen and heard. But again, it's like hard because sometimes you might not book and you're seen and heard, but not thought about until later, and then they call you up, kind of feel. So it's like you can never tell when that next opportunity arises, I guess you can say.
Gotcha. Okay. What about you, Charles?
So I'm also a martial arts professional. So I have an opportunity. It's another avenue of my acting career, that I can do martial arts films. And when I go to these events, I go to a lot of events, which are Hall of Fame events and things like that. And we do like martial arts seminars, and we network with actors. Michael Jai White's always there, Dom Dragon Wilson, Cynthia Rothrock. We always have all these famous actors around us, and we network with them as well. And that's my opportunity. I use that opportunity to get feedback from them as to basically where I am. And so, they do tell me things, and it's nice to know. It's nice to hear that you are being seen and you are heard and you are known. And because it is frustrating because you sit back day after day after day trying to get that one part, to get that one role. And you don't know if are these directors, are they seeing you? Are these casting agents seeing you? So to be able to have that, I think is a big plus for me anyway. That helps me. And me and Victoria, we've done a lot of projects together, and she's actually gone to a couple of those events as well.
Mhm.
And so those events are important for us as actors, and I recommend all actors get involved in something like that because it's another avenue. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much where I stand with that. So.
Okay. So was there ever a point in your career that you felt it was just too much and you really strongly considered just throwing in the towel?
Every day? No.
Yeah.
It is very, it does get very frustrating, and I'm a single father of 3 boys. So I have to take care of my kids. They're all here. They basically live with me. So as a single father and trying to make a living in acting and dealing with the day-to-day issues that I have to deal with, it's definitely a struggle. Sometimes you want to just throw your hands up and say, that's it, but you know what? You have to keep going. You can never give up. You never quit. You never give up. And because that one day that ship's going to come in, and I believe in that. So
it's not a moment that you've lived so much, so as it is a moment that you anticipate living that keeps you going.
Yes, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, because I was going to just ask then, like, what was your favorite thing that you've ever done? Like, what was the highest point? But if what keeps you going is the future, that's a hard question to answer.
It is tough. Yeah, it's a very tough question because Yeah, my drive and my ambition to become an A-lister, I mean, that's my ambition and my drive alone is enough to keep me going forward. I also teach karate, so I have a karate school, so I do that as well. But I do, but the acting to me is first. And so I try to take the acting career, and I take it as very serious as I can, you know.
Right. Interesting. So what made you both, I don't care who goes first, but what made you get into acting in the first place?
Yeah, Victoria.
Um, well, I started in theater, so theater was my
That does
escape.
not surprise me at all.
I know. So I'm a dancer as well. So I love dancing and I love
We
just
share that love. We share that love.
yes, I just love entertaining. So theater was fabulous. I did a lot of musical theater. And then when I reached college, I found the love of film and TV. And I found out that my niche was better with the camera. So I transferred over into that and then just never left. But then I minored in journalism and minored in RTF communications. So I learned behind the scenes and I learned how to write. So all of my talents are finally coming full circle. So when I went to college for it actually is now working. It just took a couple more years later than I thought. But the cool thing is, like, with your side hustle day jobs, they actually do the acting field collides with it. And I could say this for the sake of I was doing a brand ambassador job on Temple campus, and the police officer that came over was talking to me and found out that his son is the president of a big company in LA for productions. So then he said, just talk to him. So I emailed him and then he connected me to the guy who does internships and jobs and who knows where that will go, but you never know who you're going to meet on a day-to-day basis. So always keep your eyes peeled, kind of feel, as I always say, because I always think that like God puts people in your life to make this happen for you. So it's like you just got to keep your eyes open to who you're supposed to be talking to, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that's real. Like my grandmother used to tell me
Yeah.
that you never know who's really the Queen of England.
Yeah.
And it's for that very reason, like you could be in
It's
a room
true.
of seem like useless people, but they might not be. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So what about you there, Charles?
So I kind of started with theater in high school, and I really didn't care for theater. I wanted
That
more of
also
the
doesn't surprise me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I want action. I want to be behind the camera on a film set. I did. I was in Creed 2, and that was so much fun. I really enjoyed being on set with everybody there. And I mean, that's another reason why you love it so much. Because when you're on set, it's just a different feeling altogether, and it's just amazing. And so I got out of it. I started young, and then I got out of it for a while, and then I went back into it again. Once I got past a certain degree with my martial arts and stuff like that, and got my life together, I got back into the acting, and now I just want to go full force and pick it up from there.
Interesting. So, how long have you both? I know I'm not going to ask you how old you are, right? I'm not going to do that. But roughly how long, like cumulatively, have you been a working actor, so to speak?
For me, about 15 years. And I've been doing martial arts for about 35 years.
Okay. That's a lot of sessions a week. Anyway.
No, I'm close to that. I think I'm gonna say, because I took like a year off here and there, so I'm gonna say 12 to 13 years, give or take. Yep.
You're telling me you spend 6 hours a day. Bear with me here. 6 hours a day on casting websites and submitting for roles. There are 7 of those day things in a week, right?
Yeah.
Right. 4 in each month, and then 52 in each year, and times that by 12.
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, literally an exercise in insanity, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Well,
Wow.
that's the thing. It's like we need to figure out a better time management that is more beneficial and gets you the results you want without having to go
Right.
the same course that everyone else is taking.
Right. So that brings us back sort of to AI. So like, what if there was a system, right, that had the ability to act like an agent, right? Not like demand things of you or order you around or anything, but
Right.
to literally bring you custom personalized lists of roles that, just like you were saying, your agent does, right?
Yes.
That are really, really like meant for you, right? What if there was that, and what if it took an hour?
Yeah.
What would you do with the rest of your time?
Hopefully spend more time with my son.
There you
My
go.
poor son gets like back burner.
Right.
All my
I think those are-
auditions and stuff.
yeah, that's so true. But I mean,
Like
it
I
is
literally
possible.
have to, I block off a day each week
Mhm.
to like just have me and him time.
Yeah.
And it's usually have to be the weekends because, you know, during the week, because of his schooling and all that, like I literally have to be like, no, I'm not doing anything today. This is his time, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, no, our families are all, I assume, very patient, right? Like, I mean, such
Yeah.
is the nature of this business. But wouldn't it be nice if they didn't have to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that be great? Yeah, with your
Yeah.
sons too, right? I mean, wouldn't
Right.
you rather be hanging out with them instead of,
Yeah.
you know,
And two of them want to be actors also. So
oh, God bless.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I have my two teenagers, both go to a charter arts high school here. One's a musician and the other is an actor. So
Okay.
feel your pain on that. However, my dad was a musician, multi-platinum artist back in the 70s. So like we're passing it down. That's, you know, the unfortunate nature of this also. But yeah,
Yes.
that's interesting. So, you know, you guys spend a lot of time, a lot of money, and you don't work as much as is what I'm hearing. You don't work as much as you'd want to, or get the
Right.
roles maybe that you don't. Which is it? Like, is it more that you don't work as much as you'd want to, or is it more that you're not getting the roles that you rather have?
Both.
Yeah, but it's more of I'm not working as much as I want to.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
6 hours.
I would love to work every day on a film set.
Right.
That would be the dream job. Like if I could book an episodic and every single day I'm on the studio shooting, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Like I would be in heaven because I wouldn't have to worry about where is the next paycheck coming in? Where's the, you know, where's this job I have to take to get this? Cause like then I'm hustling just to get money coming in. Then I can't hustle for the acting. Like then it's like a balancing and then you're like, flustering, you know?
Right. And you're ignoring your kids and you're doing you know,
Yeah.
it's all this. Yeah. Wow. That struggle is real. Real.
Sucks.
Wow.
I'm gonna
Wow.
be plain as day there.
Like I don't even know. Like I just did a presentation about my system yesterday, and
Mhm.
I definitely underestimated the number of hours that
Mhm.
people spend on this. You know, I think I put maybe like 12 a week. That does not seem like that's what's
Oh
happening.
my gosh.
Right.
Yeah. Way underestimated that.
Yeah, clearly. I apologize. I mean, like,
No, it's okay.
no, I mean, I had no idea really. Like, I've never really had to deal with that part of it. I too have an Actors Access page and all that stuff, but I don't pay for it because no, I'm not going to do that. Right. I
Right.
also have a manager, and I had an agent whose career got tanked by Actors Access.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
happening a lot too. I mean, it's not just Actors Access. A lot of the agents I've spoken to feel that they're being pushed out as well. So
Mhm.
I guess it doesn't help, but I will say you're not alone.
That's
Okay.
good.
In how you feel. I bet you if you had a very like frank conversation with your representation, they would probably eventually cave and admit that it is frustrating them as well. You know, I don't think that anybody really, and I almost wish I didn't understand it to the level I do at this point, because I don't think anybody does on any side of this, right? But nobody's talking about it because nobody feels like they're allowed to.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
really sad. So this is a safe space that everyone will see, but it's a safe space. Right now, we're safe. But yeah. I don't know. I mean, you guys are pretty incredible. I will give you that. You
Thank
got
you.
a lot more moxie than I do.
Yeah.
And I know you're talented, Victoria. I've watched it in
Thank you.
action. And I think another thing that's happening though lately is producers, independent films aren't really getting seen either. Right. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of people who wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a film producer. Great. I'm going to be an astronaut. Right. But
Right.
like that, and that doesn't usually work out right. But however, I think there's a lot of new stuff in general, people, content, all of these things that are just getting overlooked right now. That's kind of a terrible fact. But yeah, I do want to talk about the author part a little bit here.
Okay.
What's it like being a real author in the day of digital everything?
Yeah, I know. That's that's interesting, right? I'll tell you what, again, ChatGPT is actually hurting that side of things as well. But I wrote my books long before all this AI stuff. So my books are real. I wrote them. I didn't look at
good job on that, actually. Really good job. Because that's rare these days.
I have 2 children's books, and they're basically teaching material types, because as a teacher, as a martial arts teacher, I tried to get, one of them is Thomas, the autonomous hippopotamus. The other one is Super Bee Ruby. It's a bee that teaches safety, all kinds of safety tips for parents as well as for the kids. And it's all in rhyming, rhyming format. So, and the other one is a women's self-defense book, the 911 Emergency Manual for Women. And it took me like 3 years to write that one.
I'm gonna have to hit you up for a copy of that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good book, actually, and all my students are in it. Everybody that's in that book are my students. All the techniques are my techniques, and it has more than just techniques. It's got all kinds of situational awareness. It's got a crime clock that breaks down the statistics of crime. It's really, really, it's a really good educational book.
Yeah, it sounds very human also, which is great. Yeah. I mean, I don't think, do either of you use any AI tools like in your regular lives?
Well, the only time I use ChatGPT is like if I need to write a really creative cover letter and I have brain farted and I was like, nope, I have no idea what to say to this person. I'm like, ChatGPT, make me sound great. And what I do is when it tells me the lesson, then I pick and choose what I'm like, okay, that was creative. I liked how that happened, and then I write the cover letter, picking and choosing with my own words, of course. Like the thing that was funny is I had an email sent to me from the creator of Hollywood Times. She said, oh, well, someone sent this over and asked me to forward it to you. And in the email, they wanted to know if they paid me, I would teach the robots how I write for Hollywood Times.
Probably.
And I said, oh, hell no, they're going to take my job.
Right. And to be fair, I do not suspect that anybody's job is in real danger.
I was shocked. I said, you want me to teach robots? No. Because that's going to just be me go away.
Oh yeah, that's
it's my writing technique. That's what they wanted.
Right.
I thought that was hilarious.
That is pretty funny. I trained an AI system. I spent a year training an AI system, but it was to be like my assistant. Like my office assistant. Right. I was like, and I still write my own emails. I just want to be clear about that. But what about you, Charles? Do you use AI anything?
I really don't use it. My kids use it a lot, and I mean, I see a lot of potential. I mean, you know, it's they use it, they show me things. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. What it can write, and it is creative. But I don't want to lose my creativity,
Right.
and I don't really want to rely on that. So I want to stay away from that as much as I
Oh
can.
yeah, no, I'm not condoning using AI per se for creative
Yeah,
purposes
yeah,
so much as just for functional purposes. Like if there was well, there will be, but an AI system that can give you a budget for a film just by uploading a script that
oh,
can
absolutely.
do a
I think it's
schedule film.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, and we're heading that way, and everything's going to be that way. So yeah,
right,
absolutely. I think those are
right.
great ideas, and the potential is great if we do it the right way. Yes.
Yeah, and it's not writing your script, right? There's
Right.
none of that, but it is telling you how you can logically break it down so
Right.
that these pieces are in place. And I do think that's important. I also think that's vaguely important for all of those people who do wake up one day and they're like, I'm gonna be a movie producer.
Yeah.
But
I don't see
then
anything
maybe it
wrong.
won't be so bad, right? But
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with that. No.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. Well, oh my gosh, I don't know whether to feel bad for you both, be amazed, but you both are like this, both of those things, and I think it's both of those things. Like, I wish that dreams were still a part of this business,
Hmm.
Yeah.
but that it does seem to be that what you're both kind of still holding on to, which is really cool. You're not
Right.
expecting like things to just sort of drop in your lap per se. You're still holding on to that dream, which is impressive.
Thank
I
you.
don't know that I would have stood up to all of that, but
Yeah.
both braver than I. So, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even know what else to say because, like, you both kind of just threw me for a loop on those numbers.
Yeah.
Wow. So, but you're gonna keep trucking, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're pretty good. We stick together.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Does that
Well,
help too to have like that network, like the friend group of
well,
similar?
well, that's the thing. Another thing. So a lot of my friends who have made it in Hollywood,
Mhm.
one thing that they do say is because their group, their network group was making it. So if you're in that group that's making it, more than likely you'll be making it.
Right.
So it's about who you keep in contact with, like who you associate with.
Yes.
That's going to help you make it. Because like my friend, he lived in New York, got on Bel Air and is out in LA making it, and I'm like, okay, well, if he could do it, we're in the same acting class. I can do it, like
Right.
it will happen. It's just it's time. It's your role that's bound to come to you because
Right.
no other person could do that role but you, and it's sadly it is a little bit of a waiting game. And it's
Yep.
the ones who can wait patiently and not like drop out is the ones who actually will make it. Like,
Yeah.
because there's going to be so many more people that drop out, which for us is good because the numbers will be down, but
That's
not for
good. Yeah,
those
there's
who
a
drop
slow
out.
growth rate. Yeah, there is a slow growth rate in actors, and it's
Mhm.
really only meant to grow about 8%, maybe by 2035 from where we are right now. And that's not a lot of people. It's maybe like 8,000 people.
Yeah, and
You
it
know,
might just be because of, with this generation coming up, it's all tech people. So I think what you're going to see more growing is influencers versus actors
yeah,
in this tech age. I really do
yeah.
see a lot more influencers coming up. I mean,
Although they
mothers
think,
are becoming influencers, like
yeah,
with
they
their
really do.
children,
Yeah,
you
they
know.
think they're actors. They're like 12, right? But
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
this is the generation, that so we'll see where it leads, but it's interesting. It's an interesting
yeah,
twist because I mean, my son, he goes and posts on social media flipping bottles, and I'm like, how is that entertaining? Where I go and do a fully edited version of a great clip and get
Yeah.
nothing, and I'm like, you guys don't see the project here, So I think I'm thinking too much into this. I might need to just be more.
right. Yeah, just start flipping bottles. And
I can
you'll
just the bottles. I'm good.
yeah, maybe we are. Maybe we are making it too
I
complicated.
think because of this generation, their time span is like a gnat. So
Mhm.
like you
Yeah.
got to make things that look short, like, you know, and simple and easy. Because if you make it too complicated, they have already tuned out.
That's
And
true.
I'm like, oh
And
my
those
gosh.
people are becoming producers as well because they are the
Yeah.
techie ones, you know, and they're messing with these cameras, and you know,
Yeah.
everybody's a film producer now. Mm.
And they've got the technology in schools now to just play around, you know, like we didn't have that as much as when we were growing up. You
That's
know, I
true.
mean, I remember I
Having
was,
hammer nails like
well,
in
in college,
kindergarten.
they still taught you how to do film, like real film. Like
Right.
at my age now, no, this is all tech now. They're not gonna teach you that anymore. I was
Mhm.
lucky enough to be like almost like one of the last ones to learn how to do the real film. Um,
Right. Yeah.
but no, this center generation's never gonna learn that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I know. I work with Eric Roberts like all the time, and he always talks about how he just misses he misses real film and real
yeah,
film.
it's an art, and if
Mhm.
and you, not many people could have done that art.
Right.
Like I believe me, my first film I tried, I ruined it because I got the light in it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
stop, stupid light, you know.
Yeah.
Because
It's
if you take it out of the machine too early, it got its blind spots, you know, like the light come, you know.
yeah. I
Things
know.
you
Editing
learn.
a VHS is like a whole next level nightmare. I mean,
Yeah.
but like you know,
Yes.
you learn to do it. I always
Yeah,
joke about my college degrees being irrelevant or expired by now because like
it is.
I didn't have social media. I went for marketing and journalism for my undergrad, and yeah, we didn't have social media. So now my marketing degree is just nothing.
Right.
Right. Well, that's the biggest problem we have as the ones who didn't grow up as much with me, like marketing, because the fact that this generational group has that influence. So they're going to thrive higher than people who have been in it for a longer time. So they're easier to get more followings and more likes and stuff because this is what they've grown up to know. So where we're trying to learn what the heck we're doing,
Right.
we're getting
Again.
thrown out again.
Again, yes, again. Yeah.
Right.
We're
Real
All
stuck
over
in the
again.
middle. Um,
Yeah, no, it's really true though. I mean, like I call them the cheat code generation, right?
yeah.
Because that is what they're used to. They know the shortest way to the front of every line,
Yeah.
Yep.
which is
Yeah.
awful for everybody else.
Well, the funniest thing though is because I substitute teach on the side sometimes, and these children know a lot about media, but if the media ever goes down, those kids are stupid. Just gonna
Right.
tell you that. I'm gonna put it plainly for you.
No,
Our
no,
generation is gonna try and
very-
take care of us.
Yeah,
It's not
they
gonna
would
work.
not know what to do.
No, once their technology's gone, they are going to be like a deer in the headlights. They're not going to know what to do.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
And
They
I don't
couldn't
know what
survive.
to tell them.
Yeah.
And and I'm talking about like, you know, my son's age growing up. Like these kids are gonna have a hard time. I mean, I'm constantly telling my son, put that phone down, get a book, read something, learn something. You need to be education. Like once that phone and technology is gone, and I believe me, it will probably, you know, because we're always in a war. I'm sure another country is going to take out our technology, then and all that. It's going to happen. I don't know when, but it will happen.
Right.
And then we'll be out. Like we won't know what to do.
Well, no, we will.
No, we will. No,
They
I meant
won't.
then. Well, then hopefully we'll be old farts. So who knows?
Right. We know how to use like old dial phones. You know, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
interesting.
It is. It is. Well, I really appreciate you guys doing this. I mean, it got sad for a minute, I feel. Like I don't if it helps, you really kind of just fed me more motivation to do what I'm doing because I just don't see anybody trying to fix it.
Right.
Well, I love that you're going to try and fix it because we need more of you guys.
Yeah.
We need help.
Not too many though, because I'm good with less competition. But
yes,
Right.
that's perfect.
Yeah, but it is interesting, and you know, my platform will be out in a couple months, and we're going to be doing real world trials in that before then. So I mean, you're both welcome to check it out and see how it goes.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it, but I'm more excited about doing it to fix this.
That'd be great.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely keep me in touch with that. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Everybody, including, I forgot that like other people are going to be listening to us. I'm like, everybody, including you two, right? And the other people. The website for my company is www.acthoundmedia.com. And
Okay.
it talks a lot about all of our tech stuff on there. So you can feel free to check it out and submit a contact form. And we have a bunch of other stuff on there. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
So check it out. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we had a pretty cool conversation.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, now you're part of the family, so we'll stay in touch and we'll fill you in on all the new developments and everything. And please come back anytime.
Got my full support.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love full support. You've
There
got
you go.
mine too.
Thank you.
I am a fan of both of you. That's me.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's all be friends on Facebook and in real life.
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
If only I had so many friends as Facebook says I do.
Exactly.
Right? I know, right? All right. Well, thanks, guys. It's been fun. And I guess we will all eventually meet and talk soon.